What up, what up? All right, it's only right that I make this video post-workout, post-gym, looking like this. Happy Monday, y'all. You can expect to see my face every Monday with one of these styled videos. If we're lucky, maybe on Thursdays or Fridays too, but for now, we're definitely sticking to a Monday weekly upload, so make sure your post notifications are turned on so you don't miss out. Today, finally talking about a very in-demand topic. It's very relevant to my life right now. I just signed back up at the gym 2 weeks ago, and it's been really beautiful to see how breathwork and working out really create this masterpiece. Breathwork is really this like internal workout, so when we're doing this external workout for our body and our muscles or whatever, it's really cool to see how they both combine and dance together. So I want to talk a little bit about breathwork before working out, during your workout, and after your workout. But before we do, you got to give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you're watching and I know that this is a video that you wanted to see. All right, so this is one of those ones that could have like 18 parts to it. I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet and digestible. So I do want to disclaim also that it depends what kind of workout you're doing also. I'm just thinking of like standard strength training, cardio, like the things you see in the gym, pretty overall general idea of like I'm working out my body. If you're doing something all else, I still think a lot of these apply honestly, but I just wanted to say that for the disclaimer, like that's where I'm speaking from before your workout. So I always wake up every day and do my 30 to 40 minute breathwork session. Honestly, lately, we've been a little sleepy. We haven't really been hitting it. If I do have the space and the time and the energy, which, you know, is all a matter of priority, I will do my morning breathwork. It really sets the anchor for the day, resets the nervous system, and I have found, just have to share my personal experience, that through this practice with breathwork, I used to have asthma, for one. I used to have asthma that would occur when I played soccer and did a lot of running around, especially outside. Allergy-induced asthma was what they kind of called it, but I had an inhaler and everything. Running in high school was horrible, and always tried to sit out of the mile run, never tried to do it. I go to the gym now and I run 3 miles with no problem, like effortlessly, and it's blowing my own mind saying it out loud because my dad is a runner, but like what? My endurance is so much greater because of breathwork, and I feel like because I set that anchor before going to the gym and making it a priority before I even leave my home, like resetting the nervous system in that way, creates such a stable foundation to then build upon instead of just like jumping into this like heart rate going and breath going, like really building our way up there. Because through the breath work that I personally practice, if you're new here, I do a lot of slower tumo breaths, a lot of diaphragmatic breaths, a lot of like slower breaths that actually heat the body up and detox it the same way that maybe a lot of us are familiar with the Wim Hof method. I'm, you know, not really a Wim Hofer. I'm not like against it. I mean, I might practice it here and there, but for me, the slower pace is where the magic lives. Just wanted to say that in case you didn't know, that it's kind of like my 40-minute breath session has a lot of slower breaths involved. It does have some steady ones though. So that happens before I actually step foot into whatever it is I'm doing. You get to the gym or wherever you're about to work out at. The number one thing I can say, if there's like a pump you do need before you actually start your workout, I would say breath of fire is something you can do. I would also recommend this throughout the workout if you feel yourself getting burnt out or hitting those moments of like walls where you're like, I can't keep going. If you're feeling it like, I kind of want to push past this, like a quick round of breath of fire, which if we don't know is just in and out through the nose, kind of like an alkalizing breath. Some people do nose mouth, but I'm gonna just say nose for this one. And it's a passive inhale with a more active exhale. So the belly snaps. And you do that for, you know, as long as comfortable. Some people have a set number. I do around like 30, 33. Some people put a timer on for 30 seconds to a minute. Maybe you do even longer. That will really get your blood going, the heart rate up, get you more like active and aware, more blood to the brain really fast. So if that is something, you know, instead of pre-workout, maybe you do a breath of fire. During your workout, please listen closely, especially us runners. I don't even know if I consider myself a runner. I just like to do it, but I don't know that I'm good at it necessarily. But for the endurance and for longevity and for just overall cardiovascular health during your workout, and like I said, especially during a cardio activity like running, breathe through your nose. Breathe in through your nose. Do it, please. Do it, please. You will notice when you first do this that you might not be able to go as long, or you might not be able to do as many reps as you're used to, and it might feel like I'm not getting enough oxygen, or I'm, being slowed down. Go watch my last video on this breathlessness thing that some of us tend to feel when it comes to breathing and breath work. It's actually not a lack of oxygen, it's actually just your carbon dioxide ratio in the body to oxygen, and the body being receptive to receiving oxygen. I'll let you go watch that video before I get into it here. But when we breathe through our nose, it is naturally deeper. It is the natural way that we were born to breathe. And it actually, in the long run, I know I said in those first couple times you're doing it, it might feel like I'm not actually getting enough oxygen, or like this is slowing me down. I need to just do the dog breath and pant. But this is actually getting you way more tired, like way more tired. You're using so much more energy, burning up your CO2 and O2, you're just blowing off so much in that kind of breath. So when we use the nose breath instead, and it's not to say that you're breathing slow, the activity and the breath should match each other. So if I'm running, I'm doing that, but it's just through my nose. I'm not, because this, look what just happened. My shoulders raised, it was all chest. That's all like panic in the body. That's just adding stress to the already like somewhat, I won't say stressful activity, but the high energy activity we're already doing. So when we breathe through our nose, my ribs, I feel it all the way down here, my ribs already expand. So breathing through your nose is huge. Even pushing the tongue to the roof of the mouth while you're doing the cardio exercise actually opens up the airway a little bit more in the throat. So you notice what that feels like versus the tongue not on the roof of the mouth. Feels a little different, right? Just experiment with it, add it to your workout and see how that feels. But by all means, the biggest key thing is breathing in through the nose. I will say during repetition or certain intense moments of like more strength training or something like that, I personally don't think that it's anything wrong with blowing out of the mouth. We were born naturally to breathe through our nose, but in certain areas of the gym and of your workout, when you're like breathing in, when you keep the breath really present in everything, it becomes so much more of a meditative kind of practice instead of this like egotistical thing. That's a whole other topic, but fitness and working out has its shadows to it, I guess I'll say. And so when you add the breath to it, it really creates, like I said, just like a more meditative, medicinal experience. Planks used to really scare me, but I know now to like just go into my breath and go into this place that I know so well because I've been practicing breath work. I'll just bring that into the plank and I'm like, I'm not saying it doesn't hurt and I'm like doing it with a breeze, but like it's so much easier than it ever has been knowing that I have this tool. So during your workouts, nose breaths or nose out of mouth breaths if you really need to. Like I said, it might slow you down at first, but in the long run, your endurance and the way that these cells intake oxygen actually help the muscles. Muscle growth actually only happens, I have to mention this, I almost forgot. Muscle growth only happens in the parasympathetic. So that's why rest is so important. But if you took these conscious parasympathetic breaths, like I was saying in the beginning, like waking up, doing breath work before I get to the gym, or maybe before you go to bed, you already get a kick start on those parasympathetic breaths, those really slow rest and digest nervous system breaths, that will accelerate the muscle growth because, like I said, that's the only time our muscles actually grow is when we're not actively doing anything with them. That is, you have to give things space to breathe. It's the same thing with muscles. You have to give them space to grow. So hopefully that all makes sense so far. Like I said, this is a very like tip of the iceberg kind of video. There's a lot you could say here. I actually want to recommend Breathing with Brian. He believes heavily in breath holds during workouts, which is another practice that I have implemented since seeing some of his content. He's really big on running. He's a fruitarian. He's a really dope person to follow. Yeah, he just strongly encourages breath holds. I have implemented it here and there, but I always listen to me before I listen to anybody else, and I recommend you do the same. But in general, I know that breathing through my nose literally can save my life. If you are a mouth breather, I encourage you so strongly to practice breathing through your nose as much as you can. It will literally make a difference in your entire entire being on a chemical level, on all systems level, on your overall general health, because you are intaking so many toxins in the air and so many particles in the air, and it's not filtered at all through the mouth. Through the nose, we release nitric oxide, which is just great for the overall body, but it really filters, it removes toxins, it purifies the air before we intake it into the brain. It's these tiny little like sensors basically in our nose that helps to increase the circulation and the blood flow and really just like open the airways up. So you actually are getting a deeper, bigger breath through the nose, despite what you may feel. So then after your workout, what kind of breathing do you do? Well, the cooling breath is one that I really recommend, which is one I already mentioned here. When you're breathing in through the nose and out of the mouth. Really like dropping back down. I really do my best to honestly stick to nose as much as I can, but that is like called literally the cooling breath. So it does cool you down. You're intaking this cool energy and expelling this warmness out of the mouth. So something to stick to if, you know, post-workout you're trying to like drop back down the heart rate or whatever your goal is. One more breathing technique I meant to mention, and I'll make a dedicated video actually on the cooling and the heating breath, but if you're looking to maybe heat up a little bit more during your during your workout, maybe you drag the breath on the back of the throat, constricting the throat. So you're breathing in through the nose, and then it's that oceanic sound. If anyone's done hot yoga, this is something they mention all the time. Body heats up to expel. So when we work out, when we go to the sauna, when we have a fever, and when we do breath work, all of these things are the body knowing way better than we do and sweating out those things and heating up to expel. I think that covers the basics. Like I said, there's a lot that could be said here. I'm gonna recommend some books also that touch a lot on this topic specifically, and just carbon dioxide and oxygen itself. The relationship of those two things are something you definitely wanna look into if you are into fitness and working out, because like you can't do that without breathing. You can't work out without breathing. And so getting this foundation of your breath right will really accelerate your physical activity. I can't emphasize it enough. I never used to be able to run over a mile, let alone 1 mile, and now I can run 3 with no problem. I'm also able to do strength training with so much more focus and so much more presence, and using the tool of the breath as a muscle. It's awesome. All that to say, I hope this video helped you on your next workout. If there's some questions that I didn't answer in this video, please leave them down below. I would love to know. Again, if you didn't already thumbs this video up, thumbs it up. What's up? Come on, show some love. And don't forget to subscribe too. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace. I told you you were beautiful. Would you date me on the regular?